earning degrees in how to love this woman. And we're going to see this in the ensuing chapters, what Adam has done for his wife. But I was just doing marriage counseling this week with a couple, and I told them, I was very frank with them. I said, I looked at the potential wife, and I said, here's honestly what happens. Most men date their wives until they get married, and they stop trying. It's true. And then that leads to a cold, dead marriage. Then I looked the guy in the eye and I said, if you're going to marry this woman, if you're really serious about this, here's your task the rest of your life. To earn higher and higher degrees in loving her. When you get married, that's like graduating high school. You got your diploma. Now it's time to start earning that associate's. Then moving on to that bachelor's. Moving on to that master's until you achieve that doctorate. And that's going to take the rest of your life. Are you in for that? You look me in the eye and say, yeah. God gave Adam a future. This future was sewn up in his wife. Loving her and beginning a family with her. And I wonder, what future is God giving you? Or are you one who's got your identity sewn up in what you do, rather than the partner that God has given you? You might say, well, Mike, right now I'm single. God's given you a family. You're sitting amongst them. Maybe right now your purpose is to serve. Serve Him. I'll close with this. What we fail to understand is this. This is another collision of worldview. God does not view family as a contract. He views it as a covenant. And they are different. Contract it protects against limited liability. If things aren't working out for us, we can end this thing whenever we see fit. God doesn't see family that way. He sees it as a covenant, a commitment to look out for the betterment and the best interest of the other rather than self. And the cool part is, He set the example. In creation, what did He give up? He gave up 6 days of His time. He didn't have to, but He did. Why? So He could draw near to us. In the redemption, what did He give up? He gave up the most precious thing that He had, the Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus shed His blood so we could spend eternity with Him. My friends, that's not a contract based on limited liability. That's a covenant that God has declared with you. That's based on your betterment and your advancement so that you might know Him. And my question that I'll leave you with is this. Do you understand that the Christian life is not about trying harder? It's about trusting in the Lord. This is what God is beginning to teach Adam. We can try real hard to fashion and form and create an image for ourselves or for our family. And we can even convince the entire community that we are surrounded by that everything in our family is wonderful. Or we can take another approach. And the other approach is this. We can trust Jesus and what He expects of our family. And you might say, Mike, what is that? To honor Him above all things. And then entrust our family to Him because He is trustworthy. And see what He does. One worldview says God doesn't exist and they live like it. The biblical worldview says God is supreme. And the course of their life is directed by it. Which one are you? His first act of creation was to establish the family because it's of the utmost importance. And why is that? Because we're going to mess up. We're going to blow it. It's family that we can turn back to. Remember the great story in Luke chapter 15, the great story of the prodigal son. We got this kid who comes to his dad. He says, "Dad, I wish you were dead. I want your money. Give it to me." And the dad says, "All right." He gives him his share of the inheritance. And he goes and he blows it on riotous living. And then when the Bible says he comes to his senses and he begins to think through this speech that he's going to share with his dad. And he doesn't even expect his dad to welcome him back as a son because in his mind he doesn't deserve to be called a son. He doesn't belong to this family anymore because of what he has done. And he's rehearsing this speech and he says to himself, "I'm going to tell my dad, Father, I've sinned against you and against heaven, and I don't deserve to be a part of the family. Make me one of your servants." But when the father sees this boy far off, in spite of what he'd done, he runs to him. And before he can get a word out, he wraps his arms around him. Though the son, in his mind, thought that he was no longer a part of the family, the father never saw it that way. God looks at you the same way. Some of you in this room, you struggle to see how precious you truly are because you think about the things that have separated you from God. And you think God could never love me because of X, Y, and Z. But what he sees in you is one who bears his image. And he is waiting for you just to come home and be part of the family. Why? Because a family is important to God. So I'll ask you this question and then I'll be quiet. Will you come home? Will you find your place at home with God? It's as simple as asking, Father, you know who I am. Please forgive me. Make me your son or daughter. I've sinned in so many ways, but I want to entrust my life to you. Speak to your Father, and he will welcome you back home. Let's pray. Father, I just thank you for today. I thank you for your word. I thank you that you lift up family so high that though the culture attacks the family and tries to manipulate and change it and even distort it in such a way to refer to a biblical family as an alternative lifestyle, Father, may we always cling to the importance of family. Because family points us to you. You are Father who resides in glory, who loves us, his children who bear his image. And though we don't deserve such affection, you show us mercy like a father shows a son or daughter mercy when they make a mistake, when they sin. But more than that, you show us your love by paying the price for our sin. And not one of us in this room deserve it. Just like the prodigal son didn't deserve to be embraced by his father, but you embraced us. You embraced the shame of our sin so that we can experience your glory. May that be true of each and every one of us in this room. May we rejoice in knowing our Father, and may we be profoundly moved and changed that we are never alone, and that we are always part of a family because we have trusted in you. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.